Hi, I'm Arati Devasher. Welcome to my live stream. Today I'm working in my sketchbook. This is the Pith Lumia sketchbook. I'm working on my Peachtober prompts. If you're not sure what Peachtober is, it is a 30-day drawing challenge run by furry little Peach, Shandianthes. She is an illustrator from Australia, and she runs Peachtober every October. So there's 31 actually prompts, and I have got through and done 21 of them. I was ill, so I fell off the bandwagon a little bit. Just pop these here. So the first one was Acorn, back on the 1st of October, Kite, Slug, Gingham and Poppy, Ring and Strawberry, Leaf and Rope, Critter and Seagull, Bark and Marble, Brush and Aquarium, Hatch and Whistle, Toad, Melon, Truck, and Snowflake. Now, I fell ill on, I was a bit poorly on the 22nd and 23rd, so I kind of dropped off from there. I do have my drawings that I was intending to do, so I've still got all the way from 22 to 31. Today is the 29th, so there's still 2 days left technically. So I would like to get back into it. I haven't drawn in this sketchbook in this series for a few days, so it might take me a little while to get back into it. But I thought I'd run you through, first of all, my materials, and then we can get started. I usually take about 20 minutes to half an hour for each of these paintings. I'm just keeping them really quick and really sketchy. The overarching theme of all of them is the greens, the browns, the blues, and these orange flowers in front. In my imaginary world, these orange flowers exist in every season. They are like magic flowers giving life to everything. But it's this theme of following myself and my dog and the things that we do in the woods and fields, and that's the general gist of it. So even these drawings today, the prompts are web and paper, will follow this particular theme. So, sorry, I'm just trying to sort out the chat as well. So if you would like to draw along with me, I don't have any prompts for this. I mean, any references for this. I'm just drawing from my head. But the prompt today is web. And then the next few that I also have to do is paper, spots, stripes, and bear, axe, button, sour, whisker, and ghost. So if you would like to follow any of those and make up your own drawings for these, please do follow along. As I said, I'm using the Pith Lumia sketchbook. And while I do this, please do introduce yourselves in the chat. Ask me any questions you might have, and let's just generally have a good time, shall we? So the main material I'm using is gouache. I've shared this palette before in my Gouache 101 video, but the first thing that I always do whenever I'm starting is prep my palette, because these are all now dried gouache colors. So I've just got a little bit of water in here, and I'm popping it into the little half pans and pans so that the gouache softens a little bit before I start working with it. It just makes it a little bit easier rather than starting off with hard gouache. Hard gouache will literally just feel like watercolor but not work exactly the same. It'll be scratchy, it'll be pale, it won't have much of a color load in it at all, and it's generally not that nice to work with. I mean, you can if you want to, but I prefer not to. Why would I when I don't have to? So I've popped some water in there, and by the time I'm ready to get started, it will be nice and juicy and slightly softer. Alongside that, I've got a bunch of markers that I've been using. This is the orange that has been running as a theme through the whole thing. And then the dog's shirt is always done with the Staedtler pigment brush pen. These were gifted to me by the brand, so I do need to declare that as ad/gift, but I have not been paid anything. They've just sent them to me to potentially review. Alongside that, I've got a bunch of brushes. You can, they are Pro Art and Daler-Rowney, Derwent, a mix of brushes. I've got a thin one, I've got a flat brush, another flat brush, angle shader, bigger angle shader, and this Techniques brush from Derwent. Now you could probably do this to any brush that you wanted. This only comes in a pack, but yeah, so those are the brushes I will be using. I've got my water off to the side, and I've also got Caran d'Ache Neo Arts and also Caran d'Ache Neo Color ones that I really love to use as well. Hi, April. Thanks for joining. I had a scheduled live, but for some reason that went wrong. I couldn't stream horizontally. So if you're coming from that, I do apologize for the kerfuffle and the technical issues. So April, to catch you up, these are my Peachtober drawings, which you've seen on Instagram. And the prompt that I'm doing today is web. So we're going to work with that one. What I'm going to start by doing is showing you a close-up of the pencil drawing. It's kind of hard to see, which is why I did it off camera. It's just the same dog, and then there's a web in the trees. And I'm going to make this one slightly more wintry so that it's a little bit more towards the end of the year kind of scene, whereas most of these have been quite spring and summer. And then over the last few ones, I've done a winter one and an autumny looking one. So the first thing I'm going to do is use Neocolor to draw over my web, because I do want to preserve the white there as much as I can. It will, of course, be drawn over, but if I can keep a little bit of white, that'll be convenient for me for doing the lines later. So I'm just going to add a few web bits. It doesn't really matter if it gets blended in, as I am going to draw it again anyway. But if I do it this way, then at least I know where the web was supposed to be. There we are. Now, I haven't been drawing a sky in most of them except for this snowflake one. So I generally just leave the sky kind of white, and I'm going to stick with that as well. But the first thing I want to do here is draw a few trees in the background. And for that, I'm just going to use my thin flat brush. This is a Pro Art Polar White 1/4 inch flat brush. Oh, hi, Madcat. Oh, Madcat. You guys have such cool usernames. I couldn't think of one, which is why it's just my name, really. Thank you for watching. Okay, so where was I? Clearly not used to doing this. So I want a few trees in the background. I'm going to pop my palette a bit closer so you can see as I'm mixing. There we are. So I've got a little bit of, this is buff titanium, and a little bit of brown here. And I'm going to just do some trees in the background, just loosely. I can knock them back later. And these are just freehand. I haven't drawn them in. So we'll see how this goes. So you can see here now, as I'm going over, the Neocolor one is resisting the gouache paint. I'm going quite liquidy here because it's just trees in the background, not really main trees as such. I am making it up as I go, as per usual. But if you want to use references, you can do that. My references are all in my head from walks that I've taken and so on. I'm not going to even finish that because the front tree is going to be obviously in front of it. Then, while those dry, what I want to do is take one of my favorite pencils. Look at all my little pencils. They've gone so small now. So I'm going to take the Caran d'Ache Luminance Sepia number 407 and use that to get the main outline of the dog. I have been keeping the dog's face and hands completely in white. I would like to put a color in there, but I haven't quite decided yet what color I am going to use, because I would like my dog, I think you've seen him on my channel before, my dog is kind of browny gray, kind of like this color. But I don't think that's a very good color for the face to stand out. I might do like a Naples yellow or something, or just, I'll do a pink dog. I mean, I could do that, I guess. But we'll see, we'll see. In fact, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to put all the art supplies I use to one side. Maybe I will use the lid of this Caran d'Ache box to collect them all so that at the end I can show you all the art supplies I used and we can see exactly how many I use in each painting. All right, so that's that. The gouache, obviously, I'm not going to count. I'm just going to assume that I used most of it. The next thing I want to do is do his shirt, which is always stripy. I'm just going to freehand that. If I stop talking, it's mainly because I'm trying to concentrate on drawing straight lines. I don't know, there's something about straight lines and talking that doesn't quite fit together. There we are. And I think I'm also going to do his trousers, or maybe I'll do the background first and then do his trousers. Okay, next what we want is we want the web to stand out a little bit. So I'm going to use the same buff titanium that I did in the sky and pop that down a little bit. For that, I've got a bigger angle shader brush, wet it, dab it in my buff titanium and just smoosh it. Literally just smoosh it around. And I'm keeping the can't even talk today. Just keeping the edges really rough and letting the trees that I just drew kind of blend in. I might add a little bit of detail afterwards, but as long as I can get the basics down, then we don't need to really worry about the rest of it. So we've got the sky down there. Like so. And then I just use my finger to smoosh it a little bit, just to get a bit of texture and blending. Don't want to go too far into the face. And obviously now you can see even clearer how the web has come out with the Neocolor 1. So here's what I used, the Neocolor 1. These are not water soluble. And yeah, so there's that. I'm not going too far down because the trees are going to cover it. Hopefully you can see. Shall I just move you down a little bit? Is that better? There we are. I think that's a little bit better for you. You can see my entire drawing and my palette over here. Okay, so sky's done. Well, done-ish. And I have a few more details to do. Now, I want to leave a blank space there, but what I do want to do is get some autumn color in here. So I'm mixing a little bit of green. These are all colors that I've mixed from here, and it's just become a little bit messy and mucky, but that's okay because I'm just using the same color palette. Now, because I am going to paint over all of this, I'm just going to go over my colored lines and smoosh the top so that it just becomes a little bit rougher, like that. I'm going to go around the tree. I'm just keeping it really rough, avoiding his shirt, obviously. Smush, smush, smush. This is going to be tree, so I'm not too worried about it. Add more color. Now you can kind of see the drawing coming together as well. You can see where my pencil lines were. And as we come into the foreground a little bit, I'm going to add a bit more warmth of maybe dried leaves or something. We'll figure that out later. I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do in the foreground yet. So when I do these, I literally wing it. I know the general drawing I'm going to do, and then I will make the rest up kind of as I go. I just know from the previous drawings that I've done that I have a general sort of pattern of things. April says, I guess you could say you're keeping it rough. Yes, rough, rough indeed. So yeah. In the middle of this, like it's drying pretty fast here, but I do also have my nice handy dandy Ranger heated tool. Oh goodness, thank you so much, Mad Cat, for your lovely super chat. I think that's my first ever super chat. Thank you so much. The Ranger Heated Craft Tool. It is a little bit noisy, so if you would like to mute me for 2 seconds while I do this, please feel free to do that. Oh, need to turn it on first. Me and my safety features. All right, mute yourself right now if you don't want to hear the noise. It's not that loud. And I've also like protected my mic as well. This is just for purposes of expediency. Do not heat the Neocolor too much. It will melt. It will melt. I'll show you a little tip with the Neo Arts later if you're having difficulty blending them or anything. Really, April, you can't hear the noise? Well, that's really good to know. That's really good to know. I don't have to mute myself then. Anyway, so that just sits on the end of my desk, and I do switch it off every time I leave the room because safety. Hashtag health and safety. So I think, oh, yes, one more thing, one more feature that I've had in everything is that this dog has orange glasses. So I'm just going to pop the glasses on there. I can only see one because obviously it's facing the other way. You can't hear it. That's really great. That means that my mic is actually not half bad. Okay. Alrighty. So we will actually, let me just put a sign over there just to make sure my sketchbook stays in the picture. So that's the orange there. And what else do we need? We need, things are dry. So let's do the main trees, shall we? I am going to use my angle shader again. And my browns are a mixture of sepia, Van Dyke brown, sepia and Van Dyke brown, sorry. And I just darkening them a little bit. So there's sepia in there, and then there's Van Dyke brown in here. Just squishing it down. Not all of it has liquefied, but I don't need that much. There we are. Need to add a little bit more water because while I was doing the rest, this has dried out a little bit. There we are. And okay, so I'm just going over the lines that I already drew in here, but if I meander off, doesn't really matter either. And the reason I like this angle shader is that you can do, let's get another sheet of paper here. Oh. You can do flat lines, you can do thin lines, you can do really thin lines with just the edge. Oops, I'm not doing that very well. And then you can also do shapes, but you can also do angles and corners, which is why it's called an angle shader. It's very good for precise work, and the different sizes that you get are really handy as well. I missed the web bit. Is that Neocolor? Yes, I used Neocolor 1 to resist the paint over there. I just needed a little bit because I am going to paint over it with white anyway, but just so it was a bit easier. Oops. Let's just get that out of the way. I put a rag or a tissue beneath this because it rattles otherwise it's a bit noisy. But yeah, where was this tree? Oh yeah, there we go. Do this and that and the edge. I like to mix as I go. I'm not particular about just using flat gouache. That's just how I like to work. And let's actually put the tree in front of him a bit. There we are. And squish again to blend it into the bottom. My entire table is rattling. I have been thinking about getting a new table, or at least moving this one around a little bit, because it has been getting a little bit cramped lately. So that is attached to that branch. And then here's the other tree. I tend to move my book around. I was actually wondering, do you do it? Hang on, I've just got to sort the chat out. And yeah, okay. So I've added you as a moderator. So if you see anyone with any inappropriate comments or spam, please just moderate that for me, will you? For as long as you're here. If you have to go, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so this branch is over there. See, like now I'm using the point of this to make it a little bit more detailed. And I'm just also winging it. I'm adding a few bits that weren't there in the drawing. And here, there we are. One of the reasons I used brown pencil for him, which I have used green and blue previously, is that I like the color combination. Does that count me? April, if you have to put yourself in a timeout, I think there's a problem there. But it would be funny, wouldn't it? Here we are. And now see all my browns are starting to blend in too. I've lost that branch. Where is it? That one's too light. So yeah, here we go. And then I just wanted both of these trees to kind of flank the character. And got a bit of pieced here. Oh well. There we are. In my previous live one, which didn't work, I did put a poll in asking if you use gouache. So let me know in the comments. Do you use gouache or do you use other art supplies that you prefer to gouache? Would you like to use gouache? Are you learning how to use it? Tell me everything. And if you have any questions, yes, please feel free to ask while I draw this. So here we have the trees. And are you trying to catch up on all the Peachtobers? Yes, I am, but I'm not going to fuss myself about doing them all today or even doing them all before the 31st. I just felt like I needed to at least get started on one so that I don't then get sort of like blocked. I wanted to break the gridlock so that I could get back to doing this. But yeah, I am going to do all of them. So now what I need is I need to do the dog that's here. I'm going to use a thinner flat brush for this. This is a Pro Art 1/8 inch. And for the dog, the color that I use is the same mix of browns, but I also add in a little bit of indigo. So it becomes quite a bit darker. A bit more water in there. Become a bit lumpy. I need to sort that out. But yeah, so now the color is much darker. You can see that was the brown, and then now it's much, much darker. So here we have, oh, what was I doing? Oh, yeah, the dog. Sorry, I get distracted a lot. Even in my real life, I'm quite scatty. Forget things a lot, go into a room, forget why I was there. Yeah. I have previously half emptied the dishwasher and left, and then 4 hours later, my husband comes home and be like, why is the dishwasher still open and half the dishes are still in it? It's just because I forgot. I went off, did something else, the doorbell rang, or I got distracted, and that was the end of that. So the dog is kind of looking up, and I love these little flying ears that I've been doing. Because both labs and labradoodles and spaniels have that kind of flying ear situation going on. By that I mean they have very fluffy ears with long hair, and it flies around in the wind and in the rain. Mad Cat, you do work in gouache and you work in multimedia. Nice. What do you draw? Like, I mean, I'm obsessed with dogs. April loves birds and other things. And so yeah, I'm interested in what you draw. Oh, adding a few more bits to the ear, a bit longer, I think. Yeah. There we are. I think I need the other paw sticking out there, just for proportionality. It's probably going to be hidden by foliage anyway, but doesn't matter. Bit wider snout. Okay. And what else do I need to do? I need to do the trousers. Shall we do some gray stripy trousers? I feel like I will do a jacket with orange stripes in. That would be fun. So yeah, let's do buff titanium again. I'm also reusing colors so that it looks a bit more cohesive. So trousers, and the gilet will be maybe indigo, possibly. Trousers there. And I put wellies on, but I'm rethinking that decision. Oh wow, you're a pet portrait illustrator and do children's books. Wait, do I know you on Instagram? Like, I can always recognize people's work, but I can never recognize the names. If you are on Instagram, send me a DM. There we are. And just say it's Mad Cat from YouTube, otherwise I will have no clue. There we are. So there's that. I'm not sure that I like the wellies, but we can sort that out in a minute. For the wellies, should we do brown again? No. Let's do a really dark green with a little bit of indigo in. See what I mean about the rattling? I hate it when it does that. Okay. Oh yeah, that's why you're familiar, Mad Cat. I was just wondering about that. Like I said, absolutely terrible with names and faces for that matter. So I'm just doing the, I think I need a smaller brush. So let's use the, this is the Pro Art miniature painting brush, number 2. It's beautiful. It's really easy to do details with this brush. So this is dry, so let me put my hand on it. The wellies kind of go around the leg, like so. Like so. Yeah, but not on Instagram. Okay, cool. Gave the welly a little bit more of a shape. And we'll hide that with a little bit with some foliage in a bit. When in doubt, stick foliage on top. And there's the wellies. As I mix when I go, it kind of does sometimes turn into a different color, but I don't really mind. I kind of like that. Oh gosh, hang on. My hand tends to get a little bit of a... You try to stay anonymous on YouTube, but you've outed me. Oh, okay. I am following you then. I know you work. Haha. Sorry, I was just saying my hand tends to shake a little bit sometimes because of health stuff. But I just have to stop and exercise it a little bit, and then it stops wiggling. It's fine. But it does mess up my painting sometimes, but I can fix that later. And there we are. And now he has wellies on, the hunter green wellies. Unintentionally, but yeah, there we go. So let's do the gilet. My gilet is kind of a gray color, so maybe let's mix some of the buff titan with the green and do this. It's kind of like the buff titanium and this boot color mixed together. So that should hopefully work. Put a high collar underneath and make sure to get all the little details. There we are. And there we go. Secret identity revealed. I'm not going to say it on here, but if you're in the live chat, you'll probably know. Oh, again, see, different purpose, different brush. Now that brush was too small, so I'm going back to the flat brush. And as I mix, I might add a little bit darker green under the arm. Oh, white instead of tough titanium. Oh well. the oh well kind of just shows my entire like plan for this painting and for this series. Just, yeah, oh well, whatever happens is fine. Then I'll put orange stripes over the top for this. I think that'll be fun. Just curve it up. Okay, so we have the basics of this composition. And usually what I do now is I move on to the other side so that I can then, hello, hi Julie. I can then sort of let this dry while I'm working on that. So that's what we're going to do. But before I do that, I think I just want to add a few little leaves here and there. So I'm just going to use this 1/2-inch brush and lighten that brown a little bit and add in a little orange so it's more autumnal, and just add a few leaves here. Now the way I've been adding leaves is just adding a bit of color and then squishing it around because I want it to be very fluffy. And just a little bit here and there, not too much, because the focus here is definitely the web. Just squish, 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 and rub it around. So it gives the idea of trees, but they're not completely bare because it's still October. Here in the UK, it's zone 6, I want to say. Oh my gosh, it's really pink outside. Almost feels like it's going to snow, but it's not the temperature for it. It's still like 12, 14 degrees. It is, hang on. Yeah, it is, yeah, 9 degrees. So, yeah, okay. So we've done that much. I don't want to add any more details. And so we'll move on to the other side. So this is why I like to work on spreads. April says, this image is actually my worst nightmare, though. I would be running from that web. Yeah, I think he's trying to move the branch out of the way and kind of like getting past it as best he can. So hopefully you can still see my palette here while I do this one here. There we are. Don't want to put it on top of this because then I'll kind of ruin it, won't I? So on this one, I'm not quite sure about this composition. We'll see how it goes. It might go well and it might not. The idea is the prompt is paper. So the idea is that my dog has got hold of a roll of toilet paper and is running around the field with it. I don't know how this concept is going to come out. Yeah, we'll see. Oh, thank you for my Peachtober, for pepping up my Peachtober, because right now I haven't been feeling very confident because I stopped it on the 21st, and then before that I was on such a roll. Well, yeah. Okay, so this one we're doing kind of autumny feel. This one we're going to do kind of spring, because I don't think the dog would be wandering around with toilet paper in its mouth. I'm assuming they've been camping, which is a thing I would never do. Never. And that, I don't know, it got hold of a roll of bog roll, maybe. So I am going to use for this, as I've done in previous ones, let me find one where, yeah, this kind of light linden green color. And use that, a little bit of white to make it lighter, and a little bit of yellow. Hopefully you can still see my palette. A little bit of yellow to make this nice light bright color. And I'm going to water it down a little bit so that it's not too deep. And just squish it. Squish, 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 squish. Make sure not to get it in the dog's face area. There we go. And then add a little bit more yellow as I go down. Like so. Oh my god. Mad Cat said, lol, I had a large spider across my face last night while I was trying to sleep. No! Oh my gosh, I would literally expire. Absolutely. I 100% agree, April. Yes. That's a no from me, dog. Yikes. Worst nightmare. Worst nightmare, absolutely. So I'm just going around. Not too fussed about the bottom of the bog roll because I am going to put like plants and things. Go around the dog a little bit. Hopefully you can see the drawing kind of emerging now. Need a little bit of dark green here. Merging in. So this is kind of how I blend as I go. So I'm doing the lighter color and then I've gotten darker over this side. I'm going to blend it again. The pith does absorb the paint quite a lot, so it's not as blendy as maybe a cartridge paper or a drawing paper would be. So now you can see where I've put all the paper bits. There. Adding more color as I go down the paper. I am going to just outline all of the bog roll, and then we can sort it out later. I can add things and so on. Going darker as we go down. Bit of this is green, olive green mixed with indigo. April woke up one morning with a dead spider between her toes. Oh no, that's even worse than the face. Oh my gosh. What sketchbook is it? It is the Pith Lumia. I've been doing all of my drawings in the Pith sketchbook. It's really nice. I just like the format. It's not quite A4. It's just a little bit smaller than that. You know my hatred of large sketchbooks. But yeah. So a little bit more green in there maybe. Squishy, squishy. My fingers are always covered in paint for this reason. And I also, before I went out this morning, I had a hospital appointment. But for my chronic stuff, don't worry, everything's fine. Well, everything's not fine, but everything is fine in my world, in my chronic illness world. But where was I? Oh, yes. So I did change my top because I tend to get my sleeves full of paint. So I didn't want my nice going out clothes to be all mucky. I heard somewhere that the Pith paper has changed recently. Well, they changed it a couple of years ago when it used to be a lot thinner. This is the new paper after that. Have they changed it again? I hadn't heard that. I can probably ask them on Instagram DMs. I mean, if they reply to DMs, I'm not sure. They probably will. I'd ask them, actually. Because if they are changing the paper, I would like them to make it slightly less absorbent. Otherwise, it's great paper. It takes most mediums pretty well. So here we are, through the center. I will admit this is taking me a little bit longer than it usually takes, obviously because I am talking and I'm trying to keep up with the chat. April, I do not know how you do this every week. It takes concentration. And also the technical snafus, I realized that you have to set the orientation before you start the live to horizontal. So the more you know. But yeah. Actually, maybe it's better if I put my palette here and you can see better. Is that better for you? Yeah, that might be better for you. Let me know in the chat if it is. Someone said that my books could be old and the paper has gone off. Yes, so in Pith paper, well, all paper really, the sizing does go off, particularly in watercolor paper. So if you have watercolor books and you're not using them, just use them because the sizing will go off. There we are. Also, I apologize if you can hear any weird noises because my dog is shifting around. He's very tired. He went for a walk in the morning with his walker, and they all got wet because I think the walker wasn't quite prepared for the deluge of rain. So yeah, he came back very wet and very happy. Okay, so now you can see kind of the general outline of where the paper is going to be. I don't think I'm going to be, like, I can tell right now that I'm not particularly happy with how this is turning out, but we're going to persevere, and I might like it before we finish. In any case, I don't have to like everything I do. One of the reasons that I didn't do individual sheets of paper and just kept this in my sketchbook is that I didn't want to make it about, oh, I'm going to like put these in my shop after or things. I just wanted it to be just a project that I was doing for myself. Although the other day somebody asked me whether I was making a book out of them, and I was like, no, I'm not. But then they asked if I was going to do a calendar, and I was like, maybe, because that doesn't involve too much work on my part. It's a print on demand thing, and I can just set it up, and that'll be that. So might do that if I can get around to it. We all have too many projects, right, April? Someone was mentioning, the Pith on the Francis Isaacs Patreon chat. Somebody was mentioning that a few weeks ago about the Pith paper being changed. I need to get my gouache out after I have touched them for months. Yes, please do it. Blue Shine art is so amazing. I haven't joined one of their sessions in a long time, but I need to. At the moment, the only Patreons I am on are April's, which is Monkey Mintaka, if you're not aware, and Sarah Dyer, and Emma Carlisle, actually, which my husband was very kind to give me the Emma Carlisle Patreon for my birthday. I think he did 6 months or a year, I can't remember which, but I think I might extend it afterwards, which will be really, really fun. Okay, so what are we doing now? Let me just adjust my light a bit. Hopefully that's better for you. All right, so I'm not going to have anything in the top. I'm just going to leave it blank there. And this is, I've got some greens there. Oh well. Now, here is a tip on what to do with gouache if you get another color on top. Just put a bit of water, squish it around, and put the original color back on top. It's fine. It'll be fine. Again, a bit of water. Get rid of the color. Wipe it off. And there you are. Got rid. Okay, so now we need to do a bit to this. For this one, I think I'll use Luminance 739 sap green. One, again, favorite pencil. Need to sharpen. Please let me know if you hear this noise. Oh, my camera is good. This is one of my favorite sharpeners. Well, actually my favorite sharpener because it does all the work for me. It also plugs into USB, so you can use it that way if you want. But it works on AA batteries. So let's just do. I want some fur to be flying around and kind of a surprised expression. So we'll do a little O in the eyes, like so. And then let's get my eraser and erase the lines gently. There we are. And then we can pop in. I am extremely grateful. She made me fearless to try anything. Yes, Blue Shine Art. If you're wondering who we're talking about, that's Blue Shine Art. She has a Substack, lots of classes, and she does a daily live either on YouTube or Zoom with her Substackers. Yes, she does. She's amazing. So let's do the glasses, make them ginormous to emphasize the surprise. And now we're back to the stripy top. So let me find where I've done the arms. I've done the stripes like so. And I've got a big roll of TP in the middle, so I don't need to do that. I need to do the bottom of the t-shirt there. Okay, so we've got the t-shirt, we've got the bog roll. And actually, that might be a good thing to do with a brown. So let's bring that sepia pencil back in here. Oh, for the feet, and a hand. We want one hand coming in here, holding that, another hand coming through there, holding that, and a foot in here and a foot in there. Okay. And let us then, should we add the same color trousers? Let's do that. Add the same color trousers, so that's literally just buff titanium. Keeping it light and simple, like so. Not too bothered about the bottom again because it's going to be blended in with grass. Now 2 seasons on this spread. Not sure how I feel about that, but we'll see. We'll see, like I said, with everything, we'll see. Now I'm going to add a few shadows here before I even start anything with this. Again, light buff titanium. I love this color. I mean, can you tell? Okay, let's check the chat. And we have a theme going on every month, and it helps me progress in areas I wouldn't go for. She isn't too narrative, though, more techniques. Yeah, I think she's a lot more about teaching and just like encouraging people. It's so admirable. Here we are. I do have a Patreon, yes, but it's kind of like it's a free Patreon. It's not I don't have a paid tier, but I send stuff more often to my email list. I'd see if I can pop a link for you. One second. Yep, here we go. Here is a link for you if you would like to join my Behind the Scenes mailing list. It's a beautiful color, this off-white. Yep, it is buff titanium, this color. And it's really versatile in the sense of it's kind of like a warm white to me. It's not a color that is necessarily great on its own because it tends to like blend into other colors like it's doing here. But it's a color that I use a lot for mixing, a lot for mixing. So yeah. Okay, now let's do the dog here and then we'll come back to the other one so that we can then proceed with some details on there. Like I said, so some details. We'll figure that out as we go. So I'm now back to the browns. See, with gouache now, this does dry up. It's such a thirsty medium. It's such a thirsty medium. But some colors don't dry. Like the brown dries really quickly, green dries really quickly, but the indigo stays wet for a really long time. So now we've got the brown, sepia, Van Dyke, and a bit of indigo for the dog color. I think a couple of videos ago, hang on, let me just get that one. Where's it gone? Here we are. A couple of videos ago, I did this new gouache palette with these colors mixed in. So you can see now it's dried out a little bit, that brown and the mixed green as well. So I'm going to take this out next week when the weather's a little bit better and it's not raining and show you how I use this out in the wild. I might actually have to top these pans up before I go because they have shrunk down quite a lot. That video, I think, is the previous video that I posted on my channel. Okay, so let's do this dog up a little bit. Let's zoom back in chat, scroll back in chat. You know, the Italian retreats and the French retreats, I'm so tempted to go on one, but I can't justify it. I just can't at the moment. So I don't know if you saw our video. I think I did one and then April did one as well. We did our own little retreat in Northumberland last year. Or last year, was it this year? Earlier this year. God, I've really lost track of time now. And yeah, we took our friend Mandy along. And well, Mandy planned the whole thing, really. She took us along, more like. And yeah, it was great. We will do another one soon. And sorry, just concentrating while I'm doing detailed work here. This is why I like flat brushes, because you can get so much detail with them without having to change too much. Fluffy ears. Needs a bit more brown. It's gotten too blue. There we are. Make sure to go around the paper. Oops. And right now, all my brain can think of is doing the lines properly. Doesn't really matter if it goes out though, but. And yeah. So the other question was, should I do this more regularly? Should I, every once in a while, pop on and do a live? Today, actually, I decided to do the live because I didn't have a video ready for today because I was unwell last week. I was poorly, just chronic things. I'm fine now. But I didn't have a video ready for today, so I just thought, may as well just pop on and do a quick little cheeky live since I was drawing anyway. So let me know in the chat. Should I do this more often? Yeah, they are really expensive, the retreats. I really want to go on an Emma Carlisle one, but yeah, I can't justify it. That amount is enough for a holiday for two of us, for both of us, you know? Anyway, so you can see here how I've got the background ready for this. And yeah, so give me a minute. I'm just going to shut the windows because people are staring in at me. You can probably still hear me because I've got my mic attached to me. Okay. Yes. Yeah, okay. Now, let me not shake this camera too much. Alrighty. So now that you've seen kind of how I mix my colors, I'm going to put the palette off to the side. You'll still be able to see it, but it just won't be that much in camera because I need the space for both of these things. Okay, so let's just quickly check the chat. And here we go. Here we go. Okay. All right. Here we are. Okay. The chat is all right. It's... Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, gosh. It's nice watching someone live, but harder to type when you are also drawing. Yes. And also because... actually, I should probably just bring my keyboard over here and type it. I'm not sure why I've got it all of the way over there when I could just have it here. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. That makes way more sense. Sometimes my brain just doesn't work the way it should. So yeah, okay. Next time, just move the keyboard over, Arati. All right. Okay, so now we've got these two. How long have I been drawing now? About an hour. Normally, I would have done both of them in this time, but we are chatting and drawing. So now what I want to do is I want to give a little bit of depth over here. I want to add some details to the sky. I want to add some details to the leaves. So I'm going to go back to that sepia pencil and just add fluff to the leaves. I'm just being really rough, varying the pressure of my pencil to get the feeling of leaves. And I'm doing a really light section of leaves in the background. There's literally no color here, over here, but I am still managing to get that. Someone says, retreats are good, but definitely not in my budget. Classes make more sense for me. I was so happy to go to Draw Brighton last summer, though. Yeah. In fact, one of my subs asked me if I was going to London Urban Sketchers, and none of the dates have matched up so far. But if they do, then I definitely would go to one of their drawing sessions. It's just that stuff hasn't, like, it's usually on a Saturday, and we're normally doing family stuff or things on a Saturday, so it's not always possible for me to go. Let's just add a few more leaves here and there. Just really light pencil. The further back it goes, the lighter it goes. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the web, and I got this new pen. So far for white, I've been using this Molotov pen, but it does tend to leak a little bit. But Sunday, I went to a concert, and I got this from Great Art in Shoreditch. If you haven't seen my tour of Great Art in Shoreditch, go and have a look at that. And so this is the Sakura Pen Touch in 0.7 mils. This is what it looks like. Hopefully this is focusing. But yeah, it's white, so I do have to pump it a little bit before I can get started. So yeah, oh, a lot came out there. But yeah, here we are. So what was I doing? Oh yes, I don't know why I'm so distracted. So now I'm just going to use that to go over the lines of the web. I'm not too fussed because it's already got white Neocolor on there, Neocolor 1. And it's basically the white is filling in any blank spots where the Neocolor got erased by the water. Because even Neocolor ones, if you put too much water or paint over the top, it will rub away. Depends how much Neo 1 you use, to be honest. So I'm just doing the lines. See here, it got a little bit faded out. So, like that. It's not super dark white. I mean, dark white. Super white, but it's enough for my purposes. And it is hiding the pencil lines as well. I do want the web to not be that obvious. After all, that's how it is in real life. But once the white dries, I will do some brown and some shadows and things, and we'll just bring it out a little bit from the whole thing. The other thing I always do is white eyes like this for the dog. I'm going to do that for this as well. Just one eye because you can't see on the other side. I feel like the brown of this dog is too brown. So let's paint over it. With gouache, yes, you can paint over it. It's just, you just have to be a little bit careful about how much you drag over it. So let it dry a little bit before you paint. Yeah, that's a little bit better. And I don't really mind if it blends a little bit. Bye, Julie. What are you going to cook? Let me know. Well, if you're going, you might have already gone. But if not, what are you going to cook? I'm always so interested in food. Can't eat half of it, but I still like to know because I'm nosy. Yeah, there we are. That's a little bit better, the brown. Okay. Then I'm going to use, I have been using the my Derwent pencils. This is taupe. I'll show you how that works. And that's the color. It's just a little bit darker than the trousers. So I'm just going to add in detail there. So this is how I work. I pop a layer of gouache down. Gouache, sometimes I mix it with like acrylic and things, and then I'll go over in pencil. So I'm just doing the trouser stripes. I'm not sure why I stopped over there, but oh well. And then let's do some checks. Like so. Every time I draw lines, I stop talking. It's just so funny. And then I'm adding a little bit of shading here as well. The my other favorite pencil is Forest. Where is it? It's usually the shortest one. I'll find it. Forest, where are you? Where are you? Oh no! Don't tell me I've lost it. No, here it is. No, that's not it. What's going on? Derwent Light Fast Forest. Maybe I put it somewhere else. What have I done to it? Oh no! See, like when you're looking for something, you can never find it. Natural brown. I have literally lost my favorite pencil. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Where is it? Okay. What do you do when you lose a favorite pencil? No, wait, it's on this side. I got it. Ha. What do you do when you lose a favorite pencil? You buy 5 more. That's what you do, so that you'll never lose it again. Anyway, let's do the details on this relay. Not too many dark lines. I'm just doing, you know how a gilet is kind of like puffed up. I'm just doing those lines, kind of broken lines. It's behind you, April. It literally was behind me. It literally was. Yeah, there we are. And then actually, I'll hold off on the orange for now. We'll see how it goes. And then let's do the boots. In there. Just like neatening up lines and things and adding a bit of darkness here and there so that they look a bit more natural. Not realistic, because that's not what I'm going for, but natural. Then I want a few bits of like foliage. I'm not going to do anything here because that's kind of like fading into the background. It's just for a little bit of detail. Hopefully you can all still see my feed, which I accidentally paused for the chat. So bizarre. Well, clearly I need more practice at this, but okay. So I used that pencil. Let's pop that over there. And I don't tend to always use neocolors in my work because it is hard to go over the neocolor once you have put it in. So usually I tend to use pencil rather than neocolor. And for this particular section, I'm going to use my Derwent drawing in brown ochre for the dog. So I'm going to add details on the ears, just a little bit of highlight, and a bit on the back, just teeny tiny bits. And on the trees, I'm also going to use the yellow ochre, just on the lighter areas like that. So you can see here. Just adding lines, gentle lines. And then on the other end, what I will do is I will go over with chocolate brown, do a drawing chocolate, and add shadow areas like that. So you'll get a little bit of variation of texture on the trees. I'm just going over it really, really quickly. Just like keeping in mind where I want the light to come from, which is generally in the middle direction, like it's going kind of out. It's slightly artificial light because that's not how light works in real life. But that's what I'm doing. April, I have seen you lose pencils right in front of you on your streams. So yeah, that's very similar to what just happened right now. But I almost panicked because I have been using forest in almost every one of these paintings, and I really didn't want to lose it now because I was like, no, as it is, I haven't drawn in this series in days, and then to lose the pencil that I was using, no. Have they done a forest? They have done a forest in the new set of Derwents, haven't they? I might have to get just that one. So here's the chocolate, just adding a bit. And I'm going in between those lines as well, just to get a bit of variation. So you can see here where it's flat versus here where there's a bit more detail. So yeah. And I might add a little bit of forest and a little bit of black as well. And then I'm going into the forest floor like that, just to blend in a bit. Sharpening. The Derwent drawing pencils are quite soft, so I do need to sharpen them if I need detail like this. Like if I'm just like coloring in, I don't really. But for this, yeah, I do. So yeah, trees, details, a bit more shadow underneath where the leaves are. And there. Are you also drawing? Let me know that as well. Are you drawing or are you just fiddling about? April, I know, is filming videos, which we hope to see very, very soon. They have a spruce. Yes, you should know I am April. Why do you not know? Anyway, it's absolutely fine that you don't know, but yeah, okay. So that one is that. Let's think this is dry. Yeah, it's dry. So let's add a little bit more detail. I don't know if I want to go with this dark brown. Let's see if I have, yeah, let's use, I'm doing a lot of Derwents today, aren't I? This is Derwent ChromaFlow in natural brown. Short-term memory deletes information every 12 hours. Me too, April, me too. I'm just going gently underneath the web. It's not like a shadow, it's just highlighting where the strands are. I'll show you in detail in a minute. So here we are. So you can see how this bit looks. And all I'm doing is just a few light touches here and there. Really, really light. I don't want this to stand out too much, just enough to be seen. It's almost like some areas are faded and some areas are dark. And that's kind of how you can see a web anyway in real life. It glints in and out. So I want to kind of get that feeling. As though this person has just come across the web and has just about seen it and is avoiding it. So yeah, like that. A bit more clarity in the middle. There we are. Yeah. Okay. I might do another layer of white over the top in a bit, just to well, to highlight it a little bit. Now at the bottom, what I want to do is, because this is autumn, but there is still grass in the UK, I'm going to take this Derwent Techniques brush and use this. April is drawing a raven. Nice. So I'm using the Techniques brush. I'm going to take some of the brown and the reds. Let's add some orange in here. A bit of brown. And just use it like this to get the effect of leaves on the ground. Again, I'm going to squish it a bit and blend it in to the trees. And I'm only going to go up to about here. And I'm going to really have a light hand so that it looks like it's going into the distance. Leaf cover on the ground is what I'm going for. Really, really light touch. There we are. Go closer to the dog so it's not so. Yeah. And add a few little touches here and there. And then I'm just going to use this brush, the flat brush again, and do some dashes and dots. Maybe a little bit more brown. And yeah, A bit darker towards the front, obviously. Walking through the forest. And I'm definitely going to add a little bit of leafiness here. And a little bit of green added in. And gone back to that brush, adding some green in. And see, it gives you really nice, like, grassy textures. But you have to keep it really like in different directions, otherwise it just looks too uniform. Like so. Maybe a few from behind. And I want some really light green right in the front, just to make it stand out and pop a bit more. Do you like that word, pop? It sometimes really annoys me, but I do use it. Lighter green. And some yellow. Okay, cool. I don't think I need much more for this one. What do you think? Am I done with this one? April has to go make dinner now. Thanks for keeping me company. Thanks, April. Will I see you at 7:30 for your drawing Zoom? If everybody's wondering, April has a drawing Zoom tonight, a spooky Zoom on her Patreon. So go check it out if you would like to join. It is just, is it £2 or April, or £2.50 per month? It's really cool. And then you'll have access to all of her Zooms after that. So yeah, please go and have a look. Okay, so we'll pause on this one for now. And let's come back to this fella here. Let me move this over again so that we're all in the middle. Ooh, burrito bowl, yum. 7 p.m. Yes, sorry, 7 p.m. tonight, GMT, on April's Patreon, if you would like to join. And yeah, and come draw with us. It is a spooky Zoom. Yes, it is. I think I need a little bit more shadow here, so the web is visible. There we are. Okay, now here we are with this one. What are we doing with this? First of all, let's outline the bog roll. Not too much again, just enough to get it going so we know where it is. And here, oh no, it's going around. Over here, that's going around like that. And this is going around like that as well. There we go. Okay, the other thing that bog roll has, it has little sections. If you're wondering what bog roll is, that's the British way of saying toilet paper, but nicer. Bog roll. So the little dashes and the perforations in the roll. And there we are. Some of this gets really tedious, and then after a while I wonder, like, why did I decide to do this again? And then obviously it's fading out as we go because you can't really see it at the other end. And I'm adding some shadows there. multiple rolls, just rolled around the hands like so. And let's get that taupe pencil back in here and do the checks on the trousers. Like that. I can tell I'm flagging a little bit. I think I am a little bit tired as well. Going for an hour and a half. Like I said, these normally don't take me this long because I'm not talking and chatting and so on and so forth. But yeah, so oh yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm just catching up with the chat as we go. And let's also add some branches in here. Just really lightly with pencil. Again, these are not like realistic trees, just giving the effect of it. There we are. And in this one, I obviously want a lot more grass and a lot more detail with that when it comes to that. So let's do the ears, the face, and the top of the dog. Also going to erase a little bit. There we are. Just blending with the eraser a little tiny little bit. Okay, so now we are ready to do the grass bit. For this one, because it's spring, summer, I'm obviously going to do more grass than I did for the other one. We've got, let's get rid of that, olive green and indigo, making a really nice deep dark green. And I'm just going to start very lightly applying it. Thicker as I come forward. I'm letting it go over the bog roll because that's what we want. And as we get further back, I'm just going to go lighter and let it blend out a bit more. You just want a feel of things. We don't want it to go over the bog roll white. There we are. And here in the front, we do want it to go over because we want it to look realistic as though it's part of the landscape as well. Behind it, no, we don't want it to go over because that's actually behind what we're trying to draw. So over here, I'm going to be careful about not letting it go over, right? But here in the front, it's absolutely fine. Because this isn't now in front of that. And it just makes it a little bit more 3D. A bit more depth and dimension. And the back of the dog is also in the grass. And just squishing the bottom of it here. And let's just quickly check the chat. Okay, cool. So April's gone, and the rest of you, there's still some of you here, I can see you. Say hello, have a chat with me. Are you watching at work? Are you back home? Are you in a different time zone? I am in Greenwich Mean Time in London. So let me know. Yeah, let's have a chat. Okay, so we have that. And then I need to add a few little bits of a lighter color. So it's a bit of leavening. like so. Like so. And then mix the green up again, making sure nothing gets left out and it's just even, you know. Now, you need to let this dry again. So in the meantime, let's go back to this one and add, oh, thank you, April. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much. Super sticker. Oh, that's a little cat thing. That's so cute. Is that because you thought I would gossip about you? Is that why you, is that what you would do? Hey, listen, remember that I rewatch all of your live streams afterwards. So if you ever gossip about me, I will know. Not that there's much to gossip about anyway. I hardly do anything interesting. So, oh, I forgot to tell you what I'm doing. I'm actually adding the little orange flowers that are, in my imaginary world, they're around in every season because I really like how they look. So I'm just dotting them around in the foreground. I'm just adding some in the background as well where I put some of the grass. It just ties the entire series together, I feel like. I mean, I don't have to do that because it's tied together in other ways, but that's kind of what I feel. So let's dry this a little bit more. If you weren't here earlier, this is the Ranger heated craft tool. It gets quite hot. So yeah, it's already like hot straight out of the bat. It doesn't, straight off the bat, it doesn't, April says, I'm kidding. I did leave to walk down the stairs, but then I remembered I can watch while cooking. Yes, you can. So yeah, just dry. This is kind of spooky, and then there's a little bit of humor in this one, I feel like. Should I put an actual spider in there? Should I do that? No, let's not do that. Let's just leave the spider hiding. Okay, so nearly dropped all my pencils there. Oops. Oh well. So that's almost dry. This is still wet. And what I want to do then is take my lovely forest pencil, which is so nice, and scribble more grass, adding just little dark bits within. I'm literally just randomly scribbling to get some darkness in there and get some free motion. Let's just call it that, free motion in to the drawing where I don't want too much staticness. Is that a word? But it just adds a third little dimension. And as I go further back, I'm just using it much lighter, but it's the same color. If I go out of screen, please let me know, because I'm not really, the camera, the phone is up there. So it's a little bit difficult to see sometimes. And I'm just like lightly coloring in so that there's more depth in there. Particularly in the front, I need a few randomness. I need a few random grasses so that the evenness of that Derwent brush goes away a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to use this brush with a little bit of that lighter green to blend in here. And I use a different finger so it's not so brown. There we are. And because this is gouache, it will blend out nicely. So I'm just dulling down those leaves that are further away, just because they are further away and I don't want so much detail up there. So yeah, so let's add a little bit more with the sap green, which is a slightly different color, a bit brighter. And I will use my blue pencil if I can find it. Where have all my pencils gone? Oh, here they are. They're off on the side. I am using my blue pencil, my blue Posca pencil. This is number, what number is it? Number 8. To add some detail in the shirt. Just a bit of shadow. Like so. And I like to turn things around so that it's easier for me to do that way. Just not too much, just a little bit of dimension so the shirt's not so flat. April, are you watching on your iPad or are you watching like on your phone? I just tend to watch stuff on my iPad mostly because the screen's bigger. There we go. Okay. And I think this is dry now. And then I generally use a navy, I think this is blue navy Posca, to add a few little dots in the center of these flowers just to make it, give it a bit more dimension. I use that word a lot, dimension, but it's important. It's very important. So just a bit more forest over here. Can you tell it's my favorite color? Fortunately, they don't sharpen down that much. Like here is a full-size pencil and that's my forest. That's how much I've been using it. So yeah, okay. I think that one is pretty much done. And this one, we need the orange flowers. Just see how like flat it is. And then the moment I join this, then add this, then just like looks really nice. April says, will you do face cam if you start screaming more? Well, if I can figure out how to attach another phone to this, then probably. She says, she's watching on her phone. iPad isn't allowed in the kitchen after I drop the last one off the counter and smash the screen. Oh dear, yeah, don't do that. Yeah, that would do it. So I'm doing smaller dots as I go in the background because obviously smaller flowers in this distance and bigger flowers as you come. I'm just smashing the Posca pencil more, literally just smashing it down. Can you hear it being smashed? And just doing some random squiggles for bigger flowers. We're almost done here. Then I can have a quick break before April's Zoom session. It's actually quite a nice warm-up before that. Normally I don't really do a warm-up before Zoom sessions, but it's nice to have one. Okay, so I think that's pretty much done. I forgot you have a computer on your desk. You couldn't from the computer and then use the webcam and OBS. Yeah, I could. Yes. How about the next time you come down to London, you teach me how to do this, and then we can sort it out. But I discovered on the YouTube when I was setting up the live that you can go live with someone else. So maybe next time we could do that. Like we could both have our sketchbooks down there. And if I can figure out my face, I'll figure out my face. But we could go live together and do some sketching. That would be fun. Now on this one, I feel like I need a little bit more, something. And let's reuse that chocolate pencil. And I'm just scruffing up the floor. There, like that. Especially underneath the feet to add a bit of shadow. Especially where the dog's feet are as well. A bit more dimension. Huge word, dimension. Huge, big, very big. I don't like that, so I'm just going to erase that. put my finger there so I can get a straight line without getting a straight line. I'll just add a few darker bits. There we are. And I think we're done. I think we are done. Let's just add these little bits, darker bits in the flowers. Now, one thing I absolutely always do is I will turn my paintings upside down and just have a look at what I've been doing and why I've been doing it, and see if everything's balanced. If something looks off upside down, most likely it is. So in these ones, things look okay. I think I need a bit of darkness behind the web. I didn't think I would because it does stand out quite a lot, but I think I do. So I'm actually going to use this taupe pencil and color in behind the web a little bit more. Not too much and not in all the sections, but just enough to make the sections that are closer to the tree stand out a bit more. It's just really gentle. Not everywhere, obviously. So it's like it's blending out that side, but here you can see it. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Also, let's add a little bit more darkness to the troughs. It looks like he has a butt instead of just flat. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. Now let's turn that upside down again. Yes, I feel like that stands out a little bit more. So we've got 1, 2, 3 areas of interest. That's usually what I like to do. In this one, I'm pretty happy. The dog's head stands out and everything else kind of blends in there, and the paper stands out. Okay, cool. Happy with that. Happy with that. Maybe darker in the inside, so you can see the rolls. Yeah, okay. I am quite happy with that. I shall be taking a picture and posting it on Instagram over the next couple of days. But yeah, thank you so much for being in my live. Now, the last thing I need to do is show you all the supplies that I use. So here are my final paintings for this session. Let's pop them over there. And here are the art supplies that I used. The first one is my gouache palette. Let's move that over a bit more. First one is my gouache palette, which I have discussed before in videos. And it has a selection of colors that I mix and then create my own colors with that, as you can see by the very messy section. Then I used my Staedtler pigment brush pen. This was gifted by the brand, I do need to say that. This color is Delft Blue. Then I've got 2 Posca pens. One is the orange and one is the navy blue. I used the Sakura Pen Touch in white, 0.7 mils. I used a Neocolor 1, the non-soluble ones. Eraser, I think this is a Staedtler. Not gifted. I've been using them all my life. Then, let's put these over here. Then I've got a bunch of pencils. Derwent Drawing in chocolate. Derwent Drawing in brown ochre. Derwent Lightfast in taupe. Derwent Lightfast in forest, absolute favorite color. Derwent Chromaflow in natural brown. Posca Blue, I guess. I don't know the names. Number 8. And some of my favorites, Luminance 739. This is dark sap green. And Luminance number 407, sepia. So those are the colors and the pencils and pens and markers and things and paints that I've been using. If you would like to know the colors of these, they are in my gouache video, which I will link for you in the description, or you can find it on my channel. There's cadmium orange, cobalt blue, quinacridone magenta, either Hansa yellow or lemon yellow, can't remember which, white, titanium white, black, indigo, turquoise blue, linden green. This is, I think, I'm going to say cadmium red, not sure. Pale rose blush, Naples yellow Italian, mix of Van Dyke brown and sepia brown, mix of random olive greens from various brands, and this one is Daniel Smith Buff Titanium. All of these colors are just mixed from those. And the reason I kept this palette is because everything then looks cohesive. So thank you so much for joining me for this session. And here's what we drew. I will see you in my next live. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Bye.